SWM Pave is a process and a system. The system includes annual maintenance. Maintenance is a critical component of the stormwater management BMP. I travel all across the country talking to different regulatory officials, civil engineers, and groups about the process of installing the SWM Pave system. The number one question that's asked on a regular basis is maintaining the SWM Pave system itself. What does it take? Today, we're going to walk you through the process of maintaining the SWM Pave stormwater management system. With SWM Pave, there's two approaches to maintaining the system. The proactive approach is preventative. When we take that approach, we limit costs and reduce substantially the potential of any clogging on the SWM Pave system whatsoever. When we go to a restorative approach, the owner is going to be stuck with a larger expense to maintain that, and the potential of actually being fined or called out on not keeping good records of the system being maintained.
The maintenance of the permeable pavers starts with the initial inspection. You have to get out there and determine what you're going to do, because quite often there are varying degrees of what you might have to do.
SWM Pave recommends, from a preventative maintenance standpoint, is that you visit the site after the winter season and do a visual inspection of the site. You'll be able to see the sediment and leaf buildup and grass clippings on the surface of the SWM Pave system. Most importantly, tree canopy areas, low-lying areas of the parking lot, and the connection point of the impervious surface area to the SWM Pavering surface itself. What we also recommend they do is they implement what we call an ASTM 1781 surface infiltration test. Most stormwater manuals across North America require infiltration rates of 100 inches an hour or greater. The SWM Pave system itself, surface infiltration rate is 449 inches per hour. So once they do this infiltration test, we're going to be able to establish pretty quickly whether the system's clogged to an extent lower than 100 inches per hour. Now remember, when we have a parking lot that's 50,000 square feet, you may only have clogging on 10% of it.
We've never had a permeable paver parking lot where we had to do a large-scale removal. We've had small areas where there might have been a spill or landscape materials to get out and onto the surface.
Once you've determined that the infiltration rate isn't satisfactory according to your local jurisdiction's stormwater manual, you're going to need to hire your facilities maintenance manager or a landscape contractor to come in and address those areas with the same tools he carries on the back of his trailers and his trucks already.
Permeable pavers have turned out to be the least maintenance heavy of anything. Even if you did have a heavy load of contaminants, it stays fairly localized. And every case, we've always been able to back that out.
Restorative maintenance of the SWM Pave system typically derives from neglect. The system has not been maintained, it's not been watched or inspected on an annualized basis. When we have restorative maintenance, we have larger areas of clogging. So now we go and we do that ASTM 1781 infiltration testing. That testing now reveals that we have little or no infiltration on a larger portion of the project. When we have that type of situation, we're going to need to start bringing in regenerative vacuum cleaners, or in a Cyclone CY5000 water vortex cleaning machine, which has a higher velocity and be able to suck the sediments out of the joint and void of the joint void system. The system's going to need to be re-swept with number 8 stone and recompacted. Once that joint is filled back up to the top surface, you can perform an ASTM 1781 infiltration test, and you will find that you've reinstated the infiltration back to 100% of its original infiltration rate from the day it was built. Also included in the SWM Pave maintenance guideline is winter maintenance. One of the biggest questions I get asked is, can the SWM Pave system be plowed? Well, absolutely. The Aquabrick Type 4L paver is designed with a chamfer, so a steel edge snowplow can slide across the surface of the paver very easily.
People think of pavers, they think of snowplow. It's better than asphalt I'll tell you that. The snowplow goes right over, there's zero problems. Most of the time, by the time the snowplow gets there, it's mostly melted anyway, because it's melting much, much faster than the surrounding pavements. So those practical aspects of it make it extremely functional, extremely owner-friendly, and on top of it, you have your stormwater solution that is as bulletproof as any system that's out there. For us, it's been a home run as a contractor, and in several instances, it's been a home run for the developer from an economy standpoint. They actually saved money, were able to get better use of their land, and the maintenance on it is really minor in the grand scheme of things. And with a little bit of maintenance annually, there's no reason that I've seen that it can't last for decades.